And so they fit him pretty good. I just really had to shorten the sleeves and do the bottoms. No big deal. And Jim had said, if anybody comes in, call me.
Yep.
You know, yeah. Once again, no cell phone, so I had to call the restaurant. I'm like,
I can handle this.
Yeah.
Sold my 2 suits. Jim was like, saying happened while I was gone. I'm like, yeah, little Dot came in. I sold him 2 Southwick suits. What? You did what? Oh my God. Oh, you're supposed to call me. I'm like, it's fine. Did you mark them? Did you have the girls come over? No, I marked them. You marked them? You've been here 10 seconds.
I love it.
Well, welcome, Marc Maslauski, to the table, owner of Jim Herron Clothing Store. Sure is good to have you.
Very nice to be here.
Yeah, so we go back a ways in different ways. So one thing, Brad, you may not know is Maz's dad was my junior football league coach.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
And was one hell of a football coach.
Were you guys undefeated and unscored on?
Yes, if I remember
Absolutely right.
And it
Wow.
had
A lot of
nothing to
teams
do
like
with
that.
me.
That's pretty cool.
He was a heck of a coach, and I would be willing to bet some money on a lot of those guys that played for him and then went on to play at Griffin or SHG. Developed a lot of their fundamentals because of his coaching and the staff that he had with him.
That's pretty cool. What position did you play?
Bench.
Bench? Yeah. Is that where the tight end days started?
You probably played offense and defense.
Yeah, probably.
imagine.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I had too many concussions. I don't remember that far back. So.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so that's one of our connections. And then
and our dad was always so disappointed because Steve played football, wasn't very good. Didn't have a lot of athletic talent, my oldest brother. But then Dan was a wrestler. He didn't really want to play football.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so I grew really fast. This is going to seem strange, but I have not grown since I was 10.
Really?
So I've been 5'6" since I was 10 years old. And Dad's like, got me a football player.
Yep.
There we go. And so then, they had that thing called, stripers where you had to.
yes,
you have
if
to
you
be a
weighed over
lineman,
140 pounds, you had a stripe around
And
your
so-
helmet.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I weighed 141 pounds in sixth
that
grade.
right?
But I wanted to
Wow.
play quarterback. I'm like, so I lost weight. They didn't have that many plays. So did I, memorize all the plays. And I said, Dad, I want to go for quarterback.
Yeah.
He's like, but you weigh too much. I'm like, no, I lost some weight. I weighed myself. He's like, all right. He goes, well, what about the plays? I'm like, I know them.
I love it.
So first couple of practices, for a couple games, and I'm, sixth grader, so I'm on the B team. And I should have been playing line because I drop back, I turn around, and the entire team was in my face. I'm like running for my life, throwing it.
I'm not a quarterback.
Pick six here, pick six there, whatever. I go, can I just run it, Dad? I mean, what? And so it was sixth grade, and that was it.
I love it.
I didn't do it
that's
anymore.
so
I
good.
concentrated on golf and baseball after that.
Good memories. I
Yeah.
forgot about the striper days. Yeah, if you weighed over 140, you had a stripe around your helmet, and that meant you couldn't touch the ball.
I'm not
you had
sure
to be
if
on
it's
the
like
line of
that. I mean,
scrimmage.
there is no more JFL, right? I mean, there's still junior
football. Yeah,
but
I know it's
Yeah.
all been reorganized. Anyway, some great years. And then I really got to know Maz through my brother Doug, who they were good friends. And I think met really through golfing together more than anything.
Yeah,
right?
no, we remember I finally got down to Boone Valley, and John X set it up, and it was Mike Coffey Jr., Doug, myself, a guy named Brian White, who owns a nursing home in Virginia, Illinois, and went down. We're going to play 36 holes.
Yep.
Well, that didn't work out well. After Brian and I took $80 off of coffee and Hembrough, Mike's like, "We're out of here." I'm like, "Dude, I haven't played here before. I want to play again." He's like, "I'm driving.
Yeah.
We're gone."
Sounds like coffee, doesn't it?
I've never played there again. It's
I
like,
love it.
oh, man, but no, Doug and I had a lot of good times. Man, he would do anything for you. I mean, one time I had the shanks, and I just could not shake him. And he lived actually probably a few houses down from where I live now in Sundance. And I called him. I'm like, Dougie, well, you got to come to the range. What? I'm on the couch. I'm on full Italian mode. I'm like, you're not Italian. He goes, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right. I go, please come over here. All right. He comes over in just shorts and a T-shirt, flip-flops. He's not happy that I pulled him out of the basement.
Right.
He goes, what's the deal? I'm like, I can't stop shaking. Let me see. Then he said, oh, you know what? He's like,
Yeah.
this is a problem. But after about a half an hour, it started going straight, and he gave me a lot of different ideas, but he fixed me, and I really appreciated that. But that's just the tip of the iceberg of what a good dude he was. And I still will never understand why good people are taken first.
For sure.
Agreed. That was a great event at Illini. It was for me, it was a very heavy room, and I didn't last very long. I was only there about an hour and a half, and I had to get out of there.
Yeah.
That was just
understood.
I was just thinking about too much stuff and seeing the kids now that they're grown. And,
Right.
And I remember I went up to Cole and I said, "Hey, you remember me? I feel like I should. Do you have a pool?" Doug brought him over once.
Yeah, he remembered coming to the pool.
I remember coming to the pool because he was a little kid. He was like 4 or 5.
5 when he 4 or 5 when Doug passed.
Yeah, he goes, "You're supposed to be the football player." I go, "You got tall and thinned out. What the heck? What happened
to you?"
I talked to him for a little bit. It was really good to see the kids, but it was just I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't take a lot of it.
Yeah, understood. So you mentioned golf. So one of the things we've learned doing this crazy podcast is people love to hear people's stories and kind of their background and the history. And I don't think a lot of people know you used to be assistant golf pro at Illini. Is that correct?
I did. People anymore, they'll ask me how my golf games before they ask me how business is. I'm like, I'm just an amateur golfer. This is not a big deal. No, when I was Chuck Brolin used to be the head pro at Illini, and so I started picking up the range there when I was 12. Because I could just ride my bike down there. We only lived about 5 blocks away, and then I moved into the bag room. Then I was in charge of the bag room. Then I became a pro shop assistant, and then when I was at Carbondale on a golf scholarship, not really going to class like I should.
I can relate to that.
Chuck had to let, Carbondale's a bad place to focus. This back in the day, it was all going on.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's not the dumbed down version it is now.
Right.
Full, 20,000 students and just a free for all.
It was the place to go,
Chuck got a hold of me and said, I had to let my assistant go. This guy had been having somebody at the club fix him screwdrivers in the morning and putting them in. So he was drinking all day.
Oh, yeah.
And just bad deal. I had to let him go. I was like, he'd be my assistant. I need to get you in the apprentice program. I said, well, I was thinking about maybe trying to play golf for a living. He's like, really? He's like, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And you're pretty good.
Yeah,
like, really?
Yeah.
Well, I was then.
Yeah.
I'm not now. I was then. I'm like, really? I go, I'm gonna try one mini tour series, and then if it doesn't pan out, he's like, all right, just give me a call in 3 weeks. I'll hold the job. I'll hold the job for you. So I did a little 3 tournament deal down in Florida. And,
How'd that go?
It went fine. I did not shoot over par. I did not make any money.
Wow.
I really. We're in the Missouri Conference, and there were some good golfers in there, but until you get in an environment like that, you have, and this is back in the late 80s.
Sure.
They're a lot better golfers now than there were back then.
Right.
You just don't understand how much talent there is out there and how good some of these guys are, and it basically comes down to putting. Everybody hits it great.
Yeah.
But around the green, chipping and putting, there were some guys that could just bomb it, and they were great ball strikers, from 50 yards and then they were terrible. I'm like, what do you practice 50 yards in that, or what's going on? But after, I was proud that I didn't shoot over par on courses I'd never seen before or whatever, but I didn't make any money. You have to average 68.
Right. Yeah.
To do that. These guys were all loose. A lot of them came from moneyed families, so they weren't, I had $5,000 that I had saved up in my pocket. Got some help from some members, which was really, really nice.
Yep.
And I had made enough money to pay them back, and they told me, you just keep it.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're glad you went down there.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mike's dad was a big supporter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I came back with tail between my legs. I go, Chuck, I'll take the job. How do I get, 'cause I never loved giving lessons. It was just hard. Better players, fine.
Yeah.
But beginners and stuff is hard. Or kids who don't really have any focus, or have been told to go and learn how to play golf. They don't want to show up to junior clinic. They'd rather be at the pool.
Yep.
But any young kid that wants to pick your brain, wants the knowledge, wants to work at it. Great.
Yeah.
I'm all yours. I'll do anything for you. So get into that, and then. I heard some rumblings that Chuck was going to be let go. I'm like, oh, great. I just got here. What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And I tried to let him know some things he could do and maybe stay.
Right.
He chose not to do them. And so he was, and I was his employee. I worked for him. So then I went and worked over at Bunn for Dale Schofield, which is a completely different job. I mean, you know, you go to these business schools for PGA of America. Not one time was there anything in any of the paraphernalia about how much water goes in the hot dog machine.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's about running tournaments,
right.
how to change the CO2 tank for the Coca-Cola or whatever. None of that stuff is in there. You know,
They don't cover that up.
Somebody walking in saying, "Hey, give me a pack of what I am." I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I need a pack of Coos, baby. I'm like, all right, missed that one. Okay.
That's funny.
So I was looking, and Tim Lonergan had taken the job at Illini, and he was having some major problems. He had hired a couple gals who were extremely attractive to work in the pro shop, but I guess they weren't the brightest. And I had worked there so long, like this is back when there's no computer system.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's no cell phones.
Right.
This is know when life was actually better.
Yeah, right.
So you had to write out a hand ticket to, Johnny, you come play cart, whatever. Hey, Wike, you had a guest, whatever. But I never even looked on the Rolodex. I just knew everybody's number.
Sure.
But they were having some major billing problems. Hey, I'd like to bring you back in my system, whatever. I'm like, love to come back.
Yeah.
But the president and the vice president put the kibosh on it
Oh, really?
because they thought I was going to bring back Chuck's policies.
Oh, gosh. Gee whiz.
I'm the assistant pro.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge.
Right.
I will do what my boss tells me to do.
Yeah.
And I talked to both of them. It was like, nah, I think we're going to go in a different direction. So I worked for Dale for another year. Couldn't take it. Remember, Paul Lotzenheiser was over at Bergen and said, he goes, dude, Dale's going to retire in a year. And I'm going to come over here, and you can get Bergen. You can live there. You're going to own the carts. It's a nice living. You're going to make some money. Because like I told you, my take-home checks every 2 weeks were $373.
That's not, yeah. It's not
$373. Not a lot of money. And then there was some less of money there, but assistant pro job, even now, they're better now, but they're still not great. I said, Lassie, I got to go. I hooked on with Kemper Sports Management, and they had just got the contract at Eagle Creek in Findlay. Went down there, and that was fine, but then they were running some hard times, and they weren't paying Kemper Sports Management for their fees. I was the newest employee in the entire company. It was their last hire. And so they ended the agreement. They took Steve Urey was my boss. They moved him, and then they were building a course in North Carolina, and they were going to put me there as a first assistant.
Okay.
And they talked because they need, the hotel golf course needed a club, pro to run the shop. Talked to Jane Serrano, who was the general manager, who was the daughter of the guy who owned the place, which was a problem too. They're going to keep you on as the head non-member, because I wasn't a Class A member yet. Non-member head professional. I'm like, great, I guess. So I just couldn't. So old guy Dave Link, who used to work for E&F Distributing, he's passed away. He was down there. He was giving us great deals because of our relationship on, cases of Jack Daniels, stuff that they don't have to give a discount on, but he did because of our relationship. And we play golf, and we're down in the Eagle's Nest, which is downstairs in the bottom. I don't know if you guys have ever been there.
I remember that, yeah.
Casual dining area.
Yeah.
We're sitting at the bar and having a drink.
Very nice.
And the pro shop was down there, just down the hall from there. I see her out of the corner of my eye walk by, Jane, and she comes back by. Just awful look she gives me. Comes in, takes me by my earlobe.
Oh, gosh.
And I don't fight her because there's 30 people having dinner. I'm like, what am I going to do?
Right.
Pulls me in my office. As soon as I get inside the pro shop, I smack her hand. I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
If you'd like to talk to me, tap me on the shoulder and say, can I have a word with you?
Yeah.
That's how that's done.
Yeah.
She says, what do you think you're doing? I don't know, having a drink with one of our suppliers. We played golf today. I've known him since I was a little kid. Yeah, but we're customers of his. I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying him any drinks. He's buying all the drinks.
Yeah.
She goes, but you can't drink on property. I'm like, well, since when? And she hands me this Clarion Inn employee handbook.
Oh, gosh.
I was hired by Kemper Sports Management. She's like, well, only directors of departments can drink. I'm like, I'm the head golf pro. I run the whole golf operation. I can't have a beer with this guy? She said, we're just not seeing eye to eye. I'm like, no, we're not. So I knew I was done. So I just, after work, I just went to the bar and I had a drink every single night until she couldn't take it. Then she fired me.
Got it. Oh, that's
Ended up getting
good.
out of the golf business a little bit. Took some classes in Lincoln Land. I was kind of just bouncing around. I was a nighttime supervisor at Nelson Center, just hanging out. Just didn't really know what. And so I had a little soft goods experience with clothing. And Jim Herron used to play every Sunday with my dad and some other guys. I've known him for a long, long time. He had just gotten out of a relationship with Phil Gay. They had just split up. He needed somebody because Todd and the other guy was working there. They were going to, work the new store. And we went and had lunch at Robbie's downtown and put 2 numbers on a napkin. I think the one was like 17.5. I think I'd never made over 13,000. I'm like, give me a higher number, I'm yours. He's like, all right, I don't need you for another month, but go like to Richmond Brothers or somewhere out the mall and get a little more experience about how before you come work for me. Oh, I never did that. I got married and we were just hanging out. And he said, I'm so glad you didn't do that because then I could just mold you into what kind of thing. And I remember the first day I was there, it freaked Jim out, but Lowell Dodd, he used to run CIPS. He came in, and our top of line suits were Southwick back then, and they're, this is 91. Well, they're like $595, which was a lot of money in 1991.
Sure.
It's like $995 now, probably.
Yep.
I would think. And he walks in, wants to get a couple suits. I'm like, oh, Mr. Dodd, how are you? I'd known it through my father somehow. You go back there, try it on him, and I had watched Todd when I was waiting for Jim to go to lunch, mark a guy in a suit. And he was talking to him about why he's doing this. Then I also talked to the girls that do all the sewing. I'm like, how do you want this done? She's like, oh, okay, we hate the way Jim marks suits. This is awesome. You're asking us how we want it marked. I'm like, well, you're going to sew it. I want you guys to be happy.
Sure.
And so they fit him pretty good. I just really had to shorten the sleeves and do the bottoms. No big deal. And Jim had said, if anybody comes in, call me.
Yep.
Once again, no cell phone, so I had to call the restaurant. I'm like,
I can handle this.
Yeah.
Sold my 2 suits. Jim was like, so anything happened while I was gone? I'm like, yeah, Lil Doc came in. I sold him 2 Southwick suits. What? You did what? Oh, my God. Oh, you're supposed to call me. I'm like, it's fine. Did you mark them? Did you have the girls come over? No, I marked them. You marked them? You've been here 10 seconds.
I love it.
I'm like, so he came in a week later with alterations, and Jim immediately just just all over him, just hovering.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to try these on. So Mark just started and whatever. He goes, well, okay, Jim. They fit perfect.
That's awesome.
He laughed, and Jim's like, well, maybe you're a natural.
Yeah.
Who knows? And maybe 2 months later, he's like, hey, by the way, now you're the store manager. All I want to do is buy clothes, sell clothes, and write my own paychecks. You're doing everything else. I'm like, well, then I need more money. If you need more money, sell more clothes. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
So I worked for him for 15 years, and then bought from him. He worked for me full-time for 2 or 3 years, and he went to 4 days a week, and he went to 3 days a week. Well, the one year he went to 4 days a week, I was still paying him for full-time. I'm like, Jim, you don't work 4 days a week. Like,
Right.
Oh. He goes, yeah, but I haven't really taken any vacation. Because he had like 4 weeks vacation. So I just take a day. I'm like, that doesn't work for me. I'd rather you be gone for 2 full weeks and work 5 days a week because I need to cover the store.
Right.
And I still like to go do things myself.
Yep.
So if you're going to, I go, why don't you just go work 3 days a week and I'll start paying you. And then, so he was, but 3 days a week, being an owner, having your own thing. I mean, I get how he had a problem with some of this, but he went on a vacation. So he's just working 3 days a week. He's part-timer.
Right.
He came back. He goes, yeah, where's my paycheck? I'm like, your what? And your paycheck. I'm like, Jim, you're part-time. Well, what's that mean? I mean, well, you don't get paid vacation. Right. I go, if you want to leave for a couple of weeks, bye.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying you. You're part-time.
Right.
What? I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. I go ask anybody. And I guess he might have asked some people, and he never came back and tried to get me any money out of me. So, but no, Jim, he's a beautiful man.
Yes.
Great guy.
I think he is. He's struggling right now. He's got Alzheimer's, and I think it's gotten a little worse. I haven't seen him since Christmas, but he did a lot of nice things for me very early when I started working there, and I worked hard, especially when I first got there. I can remember going there at 8:30 every morning, even though we didn't open until 9:30, and just redoing the dress shirts and folding and this and that. And they're just trying to get, I wanted to know my inventory so I could just pop over and get it to somebody anytime.
Yeah.
Those were fun days, and that was when downtown was still viable.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was fun. I'd just take half an hour break, go to Jimmy's Sub Shop. I don't remember a place called that. I think some congressman has his office there. It's on the corner. Just read the paper real quick, have a quick bite, and get back to work.
Right back to the store.
That's awesome.
So you bought the business, and that would have been around 05, 06, somewhere around there. Does that sound right?
I bought it in 06.
06.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Jim always said the one thing about me he loved. He's like, you've never missed a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I didn't call in sick once.
That's awesome.
15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
People do
Good
all the
for you.
time. Because the one time
And
I
better
can't-
for him.
Yeah.
Well, one time I said, all right, I'm not going to be until about noon because it was my birthday.
Yeah.
And I might have overdone a little bit. And I walked in. I must have been 30 feet away from him. He's like, I can smell you from here. Turn around and go home.
Go
I'm
home.
like, all right, but I
We don't
showed
want
up.
you today.
I showed up. I punched the clock.
That's
It
great.
was all good. Yeah, it's been gravy since. And, downtown got tough. 2018, 2019 were not good years. I remember I bought the business from him. And just use some gross sale numbers because we don't need to get into the finances of the business. But first year I bought it from him, we did a little over $1 million gross sales. And then it kind of went from like 950 and then 925 and just started sliding.
Yeah.
The last year I was down there, it was only 675, and it was just hard to make ends meet.
Downtown, that is, right?
Yeah, downtown. But then the pandemic happened,
Yeah.
and there was some money out there that I just didn't necessarily thought we needed. They just could have let us stay open. They wouldn't have had to give us all this money, but if you're going to give us money,
Yeah.
all right, we'll use it. And came out of that, which is kind of nice. Some stores didn't make it through that because they
Right.
weren't better stores, didn't have better product.
Sure.
So there's less stuff in the marketplace, and I'm still trying to stay. I know Springfield thinks I'm way high end, but I am middle to high end.
Right.
I'm trying some new things. Well, let me finish my point, but it was nice, so no debt coming out of the pandemic, some low interest loans, which was, awesome. And then the whole, Mr. Jeezy finally got out from underneath the hotel. He'd been trying to get out of it for a while. This new group out of Texas they couldn't tell me. And I talked to him back in July of that year, and I said, guys, my lease is up. I need to figure something out. Are you going to remodel? Is it going to stay a hotel? Is it going to become assisted living? What are you doing with the property? Because I need to work another 10 years at least.
Right.
And they couldn't tell me. So then I started looking around. The space of the Gables was open before. Somehow Jim Wilson and I got our wires crossed and didn't talk about it. And then it's open again. So I just call. I'm like, I'm just doing end around. So Curtis Tillett, who I've known for a long time, who I met when I started working in Illini, super nice guy. I just called Curtis.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be the property manager. He's going to actually make money off this deal. So I'm going to call him. I'll get to at least see the property.
Sure.
So Curtis took great care of me, and so we
Has
ended up
that been a
signing
great move for you out west?
Great move. They kept talking about a 3-year lease. I'm like, nah, I know you guys are trying to sell this place. I don't want a 3-year lease. I want a 10-year lease. Because Jim and I weren't seeing eye to eye, and Curtis just like, well, man, what you want. That's what you want. I'm going to get you what you
10
want.
years.
So I told him,
Yeah.
and the next day I had what I wanted.
That's awesome.
$1 more a square foot, but that's okay. I got the 10 years, so I happen to pay that.
What year did you move out there? 21, 22?
During the pandemic, 20.
Okay.
It was in 20. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, because we're starting our 4th year, and so we, first year we were there, got back to those normal numbers, and the next year a little better, and the next year, and this last year, we're making 3 times the amount of money.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Good
Not making money.
Yeah.
Did
moving
stuff
top
across
line.
the corner.
Right. Did the pandemic change the type of clothing that you sell, or is it
I
still?
was going to ask
Well,
the
what
same
was
thing.
what was nice, coming out of the pandemic, nobody bought anything for a while. So there was a nice honeymoon period. New store,
Sure.
a bunch of people who just didn't like to go downtown. Lots of new faces. They hadn't bought anything in a while, so it was just great guns. I mean, it was a little slow first few months, but then it just blew up.
Gotcha.
Just 1 month, it's like,
Yeah. Yep.
what's going on? I gotta hire another guy. It's gotten so busy, but no, it's been great. And I was worried about, You get some national business when you're downtown, whether it's people coming in to sell software to the hospital systems or people come work for state of Illinois.
Right.
They usually stay downtown and they're there and they are from big cities where things are much more expensive and they're kind of like, God, this is a great store. Why aren't people lined up outside the door? I'm like, I have no idea. Maybe we can figure that
I
out
wish
together.
they were as well, right?
Yeah. But what I didn't realize if you live just outside Sangamon County, there's really no reason for you. Even Decatur, there's no reason for you to come to downtown Springfield.
Correct.
At all.
Yep.
Because you don't have to go to the county building.
Right.
So people from Lincoln or Beardstown or Auburn I get so much more regional business because they're coming over there. Maybe some girls come over to have lunch at Bunn or people come in to go to Sam's because they don't have that, whatever it is, and then they'll pop in. Maybe an early dinner at Curate.
Sure.
Yep.
They'll they're open until 6 and they can come in at 5 and do some shopping and then have an early dinner. It's just night and day. And I do double the regional business I ever did to that national business.
Is that right?
And I've still kept some of those national guys that knew me.
Yeah.
So
I got
they're
a
still
hold
coming to
of them until where I was and whatever.
Yeah.
Some of them retired; they're not doing it. But then I picked up their predecessors and guys took over. They've come in, but it's been all. There's not one negative. The only thing negative about my business anymore is nobody learns how to sew. And
that is true.
I know.
Hard to find a good
George and Ryan.
alteration.
I know George and Ryan over there.
Yeah.
They're worried about whenever that person they use is done.
Right. Yeah, we can't. We're in the dry cleaning business. We can't find anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. And Nick Sharp, who works for me, when one of my gals retired, God bless him, he had her teach him how to do pants, so he can do waist seat bottoms, and he does a lot of them. So I bumped up his pay.
Hey, that's great.
And doesn't count against his commission. And I feel bad for him sometimes because he doesn't ever come in early, but a lot of times he'll stay late.
Stay late to do those things.
And he'll grab his big tumbler of coffee and go back. Say, hey, have a good night. See ya. I'm going in the back. I'm like, well,
don't forget to lock the door.
Turn the AC way up, and then.
I'm curious about, because the world's gotten so much more casual, even before the pandemic, and then especially on the other side of it, what your inventory mix looks like today versus what it looked like 10 years ago. Is it and I know I'm in the store, but you probably don't sell even close to the number of suits you
if you want to go all the way back to my first store wearing for Jim.
Oh, for sure.
So
yeah,
he was probably 80% Corbin, which is a line out of Kentucky that beautiful, made in America, great stuff. We were suits. Jim used to sell a lot of pants. When I started my moving sale and I had kept all his rags, I had 2,000 pairs of pants down there. Like, why do I have 2,000 pairs of pants? And he used to carry more pants than I did.
Wow.
He was a pant emporium. But he was, guys wore suits and sport coats and ties.
yes, every day,
Saturday, army cloth khakis, a plaid sport shirt, and a blue blazer.
yeah.
Yep.
They didn't wear. If they were going to somebody's house for a cookout or a pool party, they'd wear shorts.
Right.
They didn't even wear shorts.
Right.
We didn't even
it's
really
a different
carry
world.
shorts.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So now, yes, we carry. I sell suits for weddings and funerals, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. Daytime business wear, not a lot. If it's an attorney who still has to go to court,
Sure.
Those guys. Some accountants that see some non-rural clients that feel like they need to, have a suit on, but they've gotten a lot more casual. Doctors used to be some of my best customers.
Yeah.
And they've mailed it in. They wear scrubs to work, which they're not supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
Right.
supposed to wear clothes to work, put scrubs on when they get there because they're like, well, they're washed. I'm like, they're not sanitized.
Right. Good
I
point.
go, if you're going to do surgery on me, I don't want you wearing scrubs from home.
I like that. Yeah.
I want you to be like
Buy a suit.
I want you to be like Tim Van Fleet, is one of my best customers. I want you to dress to the nines, go in there, put your scrubs on, and then dress up when you go back.
Yeah.
And you'll see them at the grocery store.
Yeah. Good point.
Afterwards, and they, still have their scope around their neck. I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on. But no, I had a great Dr. clientele, and I still do, but a lot of them are just super casual.
Yeah. And how's the tux business? Are you in the tux? Do you have tux?
We sell and rent both.
You do. Okay.
Good. We've done it.
I've been to more black tie weddings though.
Yeah, I had 3 last year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
To really do a good job with the rentals, that's where we need another person.
Yeah.
Because it can be labor intensive. I know that. They were, the guys at the Brass Horn do unbelievable tuxedo business.
Do
and
they
I
a lot?
think,
I did not know.
Yeah, Zach and Brady are kind of
Yeah.
spearheading that, and so they put a lot of time and effort into it.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh yeah, I think they did. I don't know whereas we did 75 rentals last year. I think they probably did, I don't know, close to 1,000.
Oh yeah, wow, okay.
It's just they're knocking out of the park. And I really try to get somebody to buy a tuxedo. Now prom time is different and all that stuff, but I'm like, if you guys walk in, you got an event.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's gonna cost you $200 to rent it, $250 with shoes. I go, I can get you a tux for $500 or $600.
Right.
Sure. I mean, it's gonna be like a one-time investment of about $1,000.
Sure.
So after you wear it 4 or 5 times, it's paid for itself. It's more comfortable.
Right.
It fits you like
it's
your own
yours.
suit.
It
It's
fits
yours.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's tailored to you. It's not a rental. Nobody's worn it. I mean, the fabric's different. It's a whole different world. So if you know you're going to have at least one, and this is the best thing about it, if it's a black tie optional event, wear your tux. You're done.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Just throw it on. I mean, it's easy for us. I mean, it's bad on the women because they got, they can't wear the same dress they wore the last time. They gotta look.
Right.
They got to order 8 because they're going to send 7 back, but it's all good. I get it. No, but it's good. I mean, we try, and I finally said when Terry was still with me, he wanted to chase that poly rayon business, but all it did was really gum up our tailor shop, and it was we were selling suits for $199. I'm like, Nick, we're not doing that. We're gonna do this micro wool tuck suit. If they want that, I'll discount that down to $295. If they have at least 6 people. They want to go lower than that, then we're gonna rent them something because I'm not gonna put that through the tailor shop and just not get the benefit from it. It's just not worth it to me. And I go, and you need to try to get them to get the all wool suit at $395 because if somebody is gonna a great way to do it too. They could just, pay $100 of it, and that's their gift for being on their wedding. And this kid's got an all wool suit, this super 140s. Now it's made in China. That's why it's so much cheaper.
Sure.
But it's still a decent piece of clothes, and he's got a suit, and he probably doesn't have one.
Yeah.
So that works out fine too. But we've done a lot of rentals this year. No, it's been good. It's easy. There's no inventory.
Sure.
Comes in, I send it back. It's great.
Nice.
I like to be full.
Yeah.
Well, you always have a great inventory.
And everybody loves the fact that we have a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lots
to choose from.
Yeah, lots.
Absolutely.
Sam, the Sam show, they've been a couple other places. I heard them talking about, how much inventory they have. So they're going to be there Saturday. So I can't wait to what he's
They see your inventory.
my inventory.
Oh, that's awesome.
He goes, think about it. And we haven't talked about this yet. We have 100 and I just counted the other day. I have 142 different styles of ladies shoes.
Wow. Yeah, I know you. That's the new space that you opened last
Yeah,
year.
you got our shoes on today.
Yeah, I've got your. I love these.
They're comfy.
The Peter Millar shoes. They're awesome. I've got just about every color.
The ladies' business is difficult. I mean, there are some customers. I love them all. I need them. I have to have them. But guys, sometimes it's like a badge of honor to be hard to fit.
Yeah.
They like to be hard to fit. And, Jimmy Herron always told me the old story about, some guy, because when Jim got in the business, he was the hat salesman. He ran the hat department at Myers Brothers.
Okay.
And he, there's a lot of these guys always thought they were long ovals. He's like, well, sir, let me try this on you. You're not a long oval. No, I'm a long oval. And the problem is these old tight salesmen, they just wanted to sell you stuff.
Right.
They didn't really care.
Yep.
They're just there to sell you stuff. And so there's not that many people who are really a long oval. Man, I don't think they even make them anymore. But they'd always have long ovals left. So they'd sell the guys. They're like, oh, my God, you've been guys been selling you a regular hat? Because you're a long oval. And then he couldn't get it out of it. Maybe the guy thinks he's a narrow foot. Like, you're not a narrow, you're a medium.
Yeah.
Or he thinks he's a medium. Like, no, you need a wide. I mean, they've just been missized over the years. Women are a whole different animal because sometimes they've worn shoes. But they'll tell you the story. They've worn shoes that are way too small. Yeah, so they might have a bunion, so it's really hard to fit and whatever. And I feel horrible for them because there's a lot of gals that I've tried all our brands. I can't find a pair of shoes that fit them, and I feel horrible about it. Yeah. It's like they're not trying to be hard to fit. They just are hard to fit.
Yeah. How long ago did you open that part of the store?
So when we opened, it was we opened early January, and then we opened the following April over there.
Okay.
I was using that space was not rented, and Jim Wilson, God bless him, he's like, we're trying to show that space, and you've got a lot of racks clothes over there, because the tailor shop was behind, jammed them into 300 square feet, which I didn't really realize how miserable they were back there. Until I said, well, Jim, if I put the gas and electric in my name, can I have a few more months to figure this out? He's like,
Yeah.
oh, you can expand?
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe. I don't know. And so then
Thinking about
a
it.
month later, I'm like, I got to do this. Man, I got to find a way for this
To work.
this space to make money. So I'm like, I had sent, don't ever want to talk ill of anybody, but I had sent people to Mossers whenever I couldn't find them a pair of shoes. We always had shoes. We didn't have a shoe department.
Sure.
And I just get stories back about how, well, they didn't have very good inventory, or I felt like I was bothering them. I didn't think I got really good service. And we're all about service. So,
Right,
I mean,
sure.
if you go someplace that's not giving you top-level service,
Right.
You're going to notice it because you get a lot of it with us.
That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
I'm like, screw it. I'm going to open my own shoe store. So I found out I was going to make it separate. I was going to call it Jim Herron Limited Shoes and More. And it still says that on there just to give a little separation. But then some of these lines like, well, if you do that, I can't sell you. But if you just expand and put in a shoe department and you're a ready-to-wear men's store, I can sell you.
Is
So,
that
like,
right?
Echo, Johnston Murphy. I'm like, okay, perfect. No,
I'll do it.
no separate books either. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that
I
is
don't know why I was
awesome.
thinking about doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
So then I just knocked a hole in the wall, carpet, paint, a new wall, because I had Ellen Hill, the old Johnston Murphy sales rep. She came down because she knew I was going to do this big open to buy, and she's like, "So where's your shoe storage going to be?" I'm like, "Oh, right back here." So tailor shop, and this little niche here, and this wall right there, and she takes a step back, and she wore glasses. She's got her glasses on, looks at me. Until just now, I had no idea. I'm going to do the PG version. I had no idea. You have no idea what you're doing, and I didn't figure that out until just now. So she walks out in the big space, looking around. She's like, "Where's the damn thermostat?" I'm like, "It's right there." Oh, perfect. All right, the wall's going right here. Then this is going to be your shoe room, plus that little bitty room you thought you were going to sell shoes out of. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm like, well, when do I get to look at the shoes? You're not looking at any shoes. What do you mean? I got to do an open to buy. I'm doing your open to buy. Just trust me. And it was like a weight was lifted.
Yeah.
Because it was great. Because I was going to start doing women's too from Johnston & Murphy. And she's like, just let me take care of it. Trust me. And she's been doing it a long time. I'm like, I trust you. And she did a great job.
That's awesome.
And it really was easy because I didn't know who my customer was yet. So I didn't really know how to size it. Because I'd never sold women's shoes before.
Sure.
So how do you size that? And the men's stuff, I kind of know what does well. It worked out great. I mean, and the plan eventually is to be, right now we started out 70-30, men's 70%.
Okay.
My goal is to get 80-20 women's.
Oh, wow.
Is that right?
It's a slow process.
Okay.
Stacy thinks I'm crazy. She thinks we have way too many women's shoes now. I'm like, it's a process. We gotta file through some seasons, find out what they like, find out what our go-to size is. Because, and you look it up. Women buy 12 pairs of shoes a year, men buy 2.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So why on earth
Yeah.
would I want to not be 80-20?
Yeah,
And if it ends up being,
sense.
and I'd be happy if I can get to 70-30 because we're probably 60-40 men's right now. So it's gonna take a minute. But there are some men's lines
Unless
that
you're
haven't
Carl
done
Giganni.
haven't done great.
He buys
Haven't done
about
great.
10 pair of shoes a week.
Or Brad White.
My friend, my friend Carl's a diva. God love him. I love him.
His
He's a
shoe
good man.
closet is awesome.
He likes
who
he
has
likes
a
to look
shoe
nice.
closet?
I know, and they're all nice
And
shoes.
he's gotten really casual.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Everybody has,
I
right?
know.
Almost everybody. That's why I asked that about your inventory and how it looks today. Like you probably saw more blue jeans today than ever before, I suspect as well, right?
if everything sold as well as my blue jeans, I carry 34 Heritage. I could probably retire in a couple.
Have
of
you
years.
always carried blue jeans?
The store has not.
Okay,
I have.
Okay.
Ever since I've owned it.
gotcha.
I remember Jim saying when they came in.
So
it's
all the way
like,
back
man,
before-
I never thought there'd be jeans at Jim
Right.
Herron
Oh, I
Limited.
bet.
I'm like,
Yeah.
well, people wearing them, Jim. Why would you want to sell them?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's sell them
Yeah.
because
I
we're not
know.
selling the suits
And they're
ties
selling
like
crappy
we used
jeans.
to.
How about just selling some nice jeans?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
And denim has gotten so. Premium denim doesn't even start until $295.
Yeah, I know. They're
$295.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And these guys, it's great when I'll show them one. Let's say it's $195 for a pair of jeans. Man, that's a lot of money for a pair of jeans.
Yeah.
Mike, you just bought 5 pairs of dress trousers.
Yeah.
That were all $215 a piece. Yeah, that was a wool dress pant. Right. I'm like, I know. You know how many more times you're going to wear this jean than you are those dress trousers?
Right.
You know, a lot more bang for your buck here.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good point.
It's like, well, I guess
I mean,
you're
be a
right.
salesman.
Yeah.
Or a nice dress shirt.
Right.
I mean, how many times are you going to wear that dress shirt?
Right. Exactly.
You know, so it was, you know, in an effort to try to get better all the time, I just don't think I have some lower price point. Fish Hippie is a nice opening price point brand. So is Johnson & Murphy for casual clothes, and that's fine. I always thought, since Joseph Bank was across the parking lot, there's that customer that wasn't going to like some of my prices. But it's the exact opposite. All those guys who shop Banks, they're loving more expensive stuff. Yeah. My longtime customer is buying the cheaper stuff. I don't know whether
isn't that something?
Whether it's because he's retired and he's watching his shekels. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing. But I brought him some sport coats that are, you know, usually we start out $395 on coats, go all the way to $895. Suits, we start at $495 and go to $10.95 off the rack. We can do made to measure and go higher than that, obviously, if somebody wants it. But I try to get a little better. I had a few sport coats that came in. They were $12.95. Okay. It's been fairly well received. I mean, I know who I can show them to and who I can't.
Right.
Yep.
I just got a line in I've always wanted to carry called Stenstrom.
Okay, I've never heard.
It is made in Canada, high-end dress shirt line. So I'm hopeful. I don't know if Spring Tucky is ready for a $345 dress shirt.
I was just going to say, high-end dress shirt, how much is it?
We're going to find out.
Yes.
But I think it might help me sell some other ones. So I have a new one called Eterna, and it's made – they used to make shirts they still do, for Eton, which is a high-end, another Canadian line. Their shirts start at $350. Yeah. These Eterna shirts are made the exact same way in the exact same factory, and they cost $155. They're beautiful. So I got to have, you always got to start somebody out. I mean, years ago, a really good customer of mine, he's an attorney from Peoria, came in looking for dress shirts, and that's back when we carried those Bobby Jones dress shirts. They had little Bobby Jones on the placket, kind of cool. Yeah. They were $175 a long time ago. Right. And I was showing him some shirts. He's like, "Are these your best shirts?" Actually, no, there's some Bobby Jones over there. Like, why aren't you showing me your best shirts? Good point. No, never made that mistake again.
Right.
You can always come down. Always come down.
I love it.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, I will say one of the things I've observed over the years is what you just made a statement about is always getting better.
Yeah.
The change in your inventory, the changing with the times. To walk in the store today looks completely different than it did.
Yeah, Jim
20
never
years ago.
Jim never wanted to carry Time Bahama, and it's like, where we live, it's easy to carry Time Bahama because, like George and Ryan, they have Von Mauer, and they carry some Bahama, so they touch on it, they'll get out of it, they'll touch on it, they get out of it. But the Macy's of the Galleria has a bunch of Time Bahama. Our Macy's has zero.
Gotcha.
So I can carry it,
You can do
and
it.
nobody else has it, and just all it does is sell. But Jim didn't want to carry it because it took too long to work the line. Because when they blew up, they had like a spot for 6 people. Well, now they've got a booth that's big enough for like 24 people. But he didn't want to sit there for an hour and a half and look at the line. I'm like, okay, you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
I go, well, this is big.
Yep.
It's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, you're right.
And it hasn't really slowed down.
No.
Yeah.
And guys from 20-year-old all the way to 60 like it.
Right.
Yeah.
They have so many different things.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Cool. Well, good stuff. Well, thanks for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you for
Thanks
joining
for being
us.
here.
One thing I want to ask you as we wrap up, we ask
You gotta
most
ask.
folks.
Yeah. The question.
If you could look back 20, 30 years ago to your younger self, knowing what you know today, what advice would you give yourself when you were 25 or 30 years old?
It all worked out fine. I've always wondered what would have happened if I didn't buy Jim's store and I just went out and did my own thing. I'll never know. I don't know if going back. There's a couple things that I agreed to do in the buyout that I would not do if I did it again. But, when, I don't know, like someday
Yeah.
you want to sell this thing to him.
Right.
So you don't think you're getting getting a very good deal, and he doesn't. He thinks if you don't think you're getting enough, he thinks he's paying too much.
Right.
Probably fair.
Probably the
Yeah,
right deal.
right.
My dad used to always say that's
Probably
what
fair.
compromise means.
Yeah.
You meet
Probably
right there somewhere around the middle,
I have thought
and
about.
nobody's happy about
I haven't
it.
thought about Curly in years.
Yeah. All right.
Bless him.
Yeah. Yeah. He is missed as well. So, hey, thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks
Great
for
to
being
have
on.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Tons of
Yeah,
fun.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
all you
right.
do.